Well, it's taken me probably 35, 40 years to realise exactly what a painter is, what you should be doing, or what helps along the way.
That's a very big period in time. What have you learned in that time?
Well, I've been a painter sort of in a professional capacity for probably 30 years, something like that. And what I realised was, and it's only just come through over the last 10 years, is that there's three main elements to becoming a painter.
Okay.
The first is to have a style which is distinctive, which can't be confused with anybody else's style.
How do you develop that style?
Well, any painter is influenced by other artists. You study them, you look at them, you've got your favourite painters. And as you become a painter, these artists influence you until you find your own brush.
Is it a bit of a problem or a risk, maybe, that you're studying well-known artists like Picasso or Matisse, but you start to bring their style and you become a copyist? You're not a copyist. How did you become not a copyist by studying these artists so carefully?
Obviously, I've had my favourite painters, everybody has. I was impressed with the Impressionist period. Basically, photography had come in, so they had to do something different.
Yeah.
And they were painting more quickly because they were outside more. And that sort of influenced me. So you learn it's like anything, you learn your trade from looking at the experts, looking at the geniuses that you're kicking about. It could be any job you do. And as you're doing that, before you know it, you are creating your own brush, you are creating your own style. And that makes you distinctive away from other painters, other artists, past or present.
So that's a journey of discovery for you to find that Gower style. Once you've got it, you clasp onto it, no one else can take it. So get your own style, number one. Mm-hmm. What's number two?
It's not, most painters think that, right, I'm a painter, I've got my own style, that's it, it's all going to happen. It really doesn't. You've got to network, you've got to make friends, help them, let them help you, listen, learn, understand it. That's the second rule that I've come across.
But that's unusual for an artist, Rich, to get out there, because there are so many very good artists that paint at home, keep their pieces on the wall, and don't go out and mix. So an artist that goes out...
It's a tricky thing to do because some painters, including myself, when you're painting, it's a solitary exercise. You focus on what you're doing, and you don't want to be disturbed with it. Saying that, as my confidence has grown as a painter, people have seen me paint live, and I don't mind doing that.
Are you more confident now at 60 than you were when you were, say, 35?
Absolutely. It's still a learning curve. I was still trying to be a painter, and my attitude was, I like it. I'm not selling anything. What's happening here? This, that, and the other. But then people start showing interest, and you think, wow, and that is a great accolade. Then all of a sudden, because people are taking interest in your work.
But did you find it difficult to get out as a painter and socialise and network? Because basically it's selling, you're selling yourself.
You are, and you've got to do that.
How did you how did you break that barrier? How would you advise someone watching this now, whether they're 20 or 80, they want to paint or to be creative, to go and sell themselves? Because that's what you're talking about. Number two is you've got to go and sell yourself. Yeah. How does someone go and do it when they don't have the confidence?
I'd start in your inner circle, first of all. So your friends that you know, people around you, even if it's a painting for them. Basically, everybody knows 270 people. It's something like that's the rule, and there's a knock-on effect with that.
Okay.
Once do the smaller shows, do like the craft fairs, do the smaller shows, etc. I'm not a big fan of people putting work in cafes or places like that. I think sometimes it's a way of, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it didn't work for me, If you put paintings up in a bar or a cafe with a price on, they don't sell. People generally want to go to places where they can buy art.
But that's an easy route for an artist who doesn't have the confidence to go and meet people, to speak to a cafe or restaurateur and ask them to house the art. And they don't have to be there. What you're saying is, you as an artist, you have to put yourself in front of your paintings and talk to real human beings. Now,
absolutely.
And I know this,
Yeah.
But for people watching who think that very idea is dementing beyond belief, putting their soul on the wall and selling it. Thank you. Yeah. It's Yorkshire tea.
Yeah.
How do they get over that? Because are you saying that you were just a naturally super confident person?
No.
So do you put the mask of confidence on?
I won't say it's a mask. I think you just got to be yourself. It's a strange thing because, yourself and any other creative knows that what you produce is your heart and soul. It's like exposing your inner self,
yourself,
which is out there.
Yeah.
But that's part of you as a character. So I believe that it could be daunting, but just go with it. Just talk to people, talk about your work, and the confidence builds with that. But talk to them about it.
Okay.
Build up. Everyone's a person. Everyone's got a story to tell.
Sure.
Sort of thing. And I just think then that people see the side of a creative that has produced that particular work.
So don't be afraid to show the side of the creative.
Absolutely not. You can't hide from it. So the first rule is get a style that's distinctive, that can't be associated with anybody else. So the second rule I found is that when you network, when you make friends with people, you talk about it, you help them, let them help you, it opens up other doors for you and people show more interest. But the third rule is then become a good painter.
Hang on a minute. What do you mean then come a
Well, most
good
people
painter?
think I'm a good painter, so that it's all going to happen.
Right.
It doesn't. You're still learning all the time. My next painting will be my first masterpiece.
Right.
So going back to the rules, that's the third rule.
But I find the third rule absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Be a good painter. So what you're saying then, maybe, is that talent is one thing, but it's not everything. You can have extreme talent, but not be able to apply rule 1 and rule 2, and you'll go nowhere. You can have enough talent. I believe this from what I do in the world of television, that I think you need a little bit of talent and an awful lot of get up and go, and what I would describe as fake confidence in what I've experienced, and for me as well. I put on a mask of confidence to get somewhere. So talent then is not the be-all and end-all.
No. I cannot possibly, within me as a character, just sit back and think I've got talent. It's done. I've cracked it.
So is it a never-ending journey of learning?
A never-ending race.
And improving.
And learning and improving. It's something ground in. I am a painter. I've still got to learn all the way through. You look at any painter in history, they don't just sit back and stop. No. I will do something every day. If I'm not doing a commission or one of my reflections works, which are popular, I will sit and sketch, I will draw. Absolutely.
Now, what about a final bit of advice? So there's the 3 rules that have taken you 40 years to master. So anyone who's watching this, who's maybe 20 years old, you're giving them 40 years advantage here. But what about people who are over 50, who want to change career, who have enough talent, but maybe a little bit anxious to go out there and show their work? Is it ever too late?
Never, no. The same rule applies. It applies to any age.
Any age. So have the confidence to share your passion.
Yeah, you'll always have critics. The other advice is don't compare yourself to other painters. You might see a painter in a show or something and think, wow, I like that. How did they do that?
Yeah.
That's their unique style.
So isn't that sticking to rule number 1? Hone in on your own style, because the great thing with painters...
Be influenced. Picasso said a good artist borrows, a great artist steals.
Of course.
And it's quite true. Be influenced, but but don't compare yourself and think I'm not as good as that, I'm not good enough here. That's absolute nonsense. It becomes your own unique style. It's like anything, it's taste. You know, some people might want to wear yellow trousers.
Yeah, some people might not.
Some people might not. But what I'm saying is, it's unique to the individual. Same with painting or anything else creative.
Okay.
So focus on that. Be aware of what's going on. Be influenced, but you know, just focus on what you're doing. You know,
but that's a great thing. There's no artist in the world like you. They can maybe try and copy you, but there's only one Richard Gower.
Yeah, yeah, it's a wonderful thing, but I've spent years honing that. It's still not perfect. There's still ways to develop with it, but like I say...
Now, that's interesting. So rule number one is develop your own style, but the style is developing continually. So the Richard Gower style of 30 years ago is not necessarily the style of today. So it's evolving.
It's evolving. It's evolving all the time.
Okay, Richard Gower, Royal Artist, 3 top tips for success, no matter how old you are. And I think the best bit of advice there is it's never too late, is it?
Never too late. Never.